We're going to be talking about job options, employment outlook, and experience at small and large companies. So first of all, employment outlook, you could do just part of bookkeeping. For example, you could be an AP clerk and all you do is vendor bills all day long. And you may or may not even do the check runs, right? There might be someone else that even takes care of that. You're just getting those AP bills into the system. You could also be doing accounts payable just for a few vendors like A through G. So if the vendor's name starts with A through G, you're the one that's going to do the data entry. These are the positions that I think are probably going to be, we're going to be seeing less and less of them because of automation. And when you hear my friend's story about like icing her hands after work because she's doing so much data entry in a day, you know, when we're hurting our bodies, that's the time we want computers to step in. So these AP clerks and these positions where you're just doing part of bookkeeping for mega companies, this already was being outsourced 15, 20 years ago. They started outsourcing it and they started automating. And so while there still will be positions at larger companies, a lot of it I think will be babysitting the automation or babysitting, you know, just scanning documents in. You scan it in and then the computer takes over. So you become the scanner instead of the AP clerk. You could be employed by a bookkeeping company or accounting firm. Now, this would be fantastic because you would expect you'd have mentors, right? Because you'd be working for bookkeeping and accounting professionals in their business. Accounting firms are really short-staffed. They're looking for people. They would prefer people that have some tax experience. How do you beef up your resume so that you could get hired by an accounting firm? Well, the best thing to do, from what they told me, is to go to H&R Block during tax season. H&R Block, if you have some experience in accounting, they run you through these classes and teach you how to do tax prep. And then you work under their umbrella during tax season. And that would be a great way to get tax prep experience without trying to do anything on your own, which I would strongly encourage you never to fill out tax returns on your own, except for maybe payroll, and that's only if you're trained. But if you get hired by an accounting firm, you might learn a lot more about tax and tax law, which would be a nice thing. But again, if you can, get some tax prep experience, and a great way to do that is during tax season. Places like H&R Block are training and hiring. Okay. In-house bookkeeper, this could mean that you're all by yourself and you're doing office management, HR, bookkeeping, marketing, executive administration, helping the owner. Or you could be in a company where there is an office manager in you, or maybe you're going to find that you're one of a team of people that are in the bookkeeping department. So when I was at my last job, I went down to 30 hours and then we hired a part-time helper to do data entry so I could focus on the rest of bookkeeping. And so for in-house bookkeepers, you could be all by yourself. You could be with other people. Good questions to ask when you're in interviews. Like, what does the administrative team look like? How many of us are there? Is it just me? Contract bookkeeping. This is where you start your own business. You get an EIN. You register your name with a state. Yes, have a name. Strongly encourage you to actually have a website as well and a proper email address. Instead of using your own email address or thinking you can only get a Gmail address by having numbers in it, you want to have a Gmail like mine that says Brass Jacks Bookkeepers, right? If you're going to use Gmail, you want to have your company name in it and it doesn't look like you had this since you're 13 years old, right? We don't want to see any Hotmail, things like that. AOL, oh my goodness, no. Ideally, you'd have an email address through your website, but if you use Gmail, then you can get a business name and make sure it looks professional. There's all these different software options. They're just unending. In a video where I'm going to be live, I'll show you this thing I got from an accounting conference with all the different software options available for all the different things. It's overwhelming. So you could be working with QuickBooks Desktop or online. You could also be working with Sage, proprietary software made by the company, industry-specific software. So one of the things you need to be as a bookkeeper is flexible. You have to be willing to start your job and figure out how they run their business and do the bookkeeping that way instead of doing the bookkeeping your way. And you have to be adaptable. You might be working with all kinds of software. This is a tech-heavy business, and so it is important that you have really good tech skills. We're going to talk about some of the basics in this next few sections, but there's a lot to learn. And if you don't really have a lot of tech skills, especially if you don't have a lot of Excel skills, I would take a class. And I wouldn't take like a Fred Pryor class. I would probably go to a community college and, really see what they have available for classes.